Delete key is dead.
Just you and me in here right now, like the old days.
You mean the old days when we were between sidekicks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have airline miles on this delete key.
Is that here's Matt? Matt had a bet.
I think his name was Jonathan. Was a winner of the Hop Dottie gift card. I got a winner, everybody. Is this a different Jose? Jose, I thought I told you we got a winner already.
Oh, I just heard you say thank you. I'm sorry.
No, I got a winner already. And Joanna's calling back now. Hey, Joanna, we got a winner. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Maybe if I call back one more time, I'll I'll win it. Bring on the next virus. Oh, hello, people on the camera. How are you?
Hey.
And we will be cameraless as of tomorrow for a while because Dylan's going on vacay. Did I get that right? Tomorrow, the rest of the week?
Yeah, I believe that's
right.
what he was saying.
Anyway, bring on the next virus. Sometimes I think the news organizations just put this out to scare us. This is the BBC flu.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Flu virus with pandemic potential found in China. New one.
The hits keep on coming.
I totally believe. Once I heard Matt say that it was 100 degrees in the Antarctic or the Arctic or where
101 in the.
I truly believe that
Arctic.
that a lot of this is being caused by deforestation and what we've done to the planet, which is crazy because the people who claim God is punishing us for gays and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The evangelicals don't believe in global warming. They believe God will take care of everything, which is kind of contradictory. But that's what I'm going with. Let's see if they say. There are researchers, and also China. Will you stop researching viruses, please? This is carried by pigs but can infect humans. And if you didn't know, pigs are the one animal that they use mostly, believe it or not, instead of monkeys, that are the closest to humans skin-wise and a lot of organs.
Yeah, if you don't believe them, I mean, a lot of you, just look at your mothers.
You're extra mean.
I got you good, listeners.
What's hurting you mentally
right now? I
right
got you
now?
good, listeners.
What's hurting you mentally?
Yeah, what are you compensating for?
Trapped in my house, unable to go anywhere. What about? I mean, what's bothering everybody in the?
I'm good.
I can't delete anything. Jesus.
Yeah, they're saying. I guess they've been testing. They test. I didn't know this, but in piggeries. What do you? In piggeries.
Pig pens.
Piggeries. They do nasal swab tests on the herds constantly, or the packs. Mm-hmm.
Now the government shut down 13 of them today.
I'm talking about in China. So it's since kind of these first swine flus were appearing, they do it constantly just to see what's happening. And there's all kinds of swine flus, and not just the swine flu. There's tons of them, and they see ones that have an inability to go from person to leave a pig and even go to a person. Then they find some and that have the ability to go from a pig to a person, but a person doesn't have the ability to then transmit it to another person. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
I got lost.
Well, just that a lot of them don't really have all the markers to be something that could become a pandemic. But they've seen one that a couple times has been able to
went from pig to person to another person.
And then that's when they get nervous. Now,
that's not
they're
good.
In small villages in China.
Right.
So they they haven't blown up where they've affected a lot of people, but they have a couple that they've watched with markers, and they're like, if this was to get out and get into a big, busy city and really be able to, with a high reproduction rate, we could see a problem.
Hey, guys, somebody wants to say something.
My name's Lloyd Crawford.
There you go.
Hey, what's up, Lloyd?
I play this because it's my old stomping grounds, but I also play it because these people are all in Austin today protesting. And I do have sympathy for anybody who has a business that can't get it open. I really do. But I'm sorry. They've seen just so many rates of transmission in bars right now. I know we're being duped by the Democrats, but I'd like to not die. And the Machine Shed here in Kilgore, they're in Kilgore. And Bob and I, if you ever go to Kilgore, we're in the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. I hear it's a slideshow that has our name. So drop by.
It's a slide whistle show. Did not someone not specify?
By state directives trying to control the spread of COVID-19. And one business decided to make their voice heard today. East Texas News Weekend's Bob Hallmark has the story.
This gathering outside the machine shed in Gregg County was a protest against
God, I
the
love this
governor's
guy.
rules restricting bars
His
and
his mom was like the legendary, midday lady.
Yeah.
That did the talk shows at the midday and the.
You've played him a couple times, and I love his voice.
Yeah.
over COVID-19. Rules they feel are exceedingly unfair.
The greatest fraud ever perpetrated upon the public is this coronavirus. The purpose of government is not to protect our health. I'll protect my own health.
That's what that mayor said. And here's my reply to this. If you think the purpose of government is not to protect your health, then kill your own meat. Do away with who inspects meat? The USDA.
USDA.
Do away with the USDA.
Your mom inspects my meat.
Get all that she can't. All the meat's rotted off of her. Anyway, USDA that inspects your meat.
Well, that got really real.
If the government's job, let's do away with the FDA. And you just take whatever drugs you can get from China.
Or make your own drugs.
Let's do away with the, I can't remember what it's called, but the organization, OSHA. So you have no job safety.
Right. Oh,
if you don't
what about
believe in
the
the
FAA?
The FAA.
Let's do away with that. Don't worry about if your pilots are certified
or your
or
plane is flying.
Right.
And I'm leaving one out here. FDA, OSHA, the people who handle the car safety.
Right.
The ones that said, "Hey,
CBS,
the ones that said,
BBC.
"Hey, there's a problem with the Pinto." The Ford Pinto. Does anybody
and
remember
what was the other one? Unsafe at any speed. The Corvair?
That was a Corvair. Does anybody remember what the problem with the Pinto was?
Yeah, when you slammed it in the rear, it would explode.
Yeah, the gas.
Kinda
like your mom.
The gas tank. You should play video games with us. You sound like Tiva. The gas tank was right on the back of the car and didn't have the protections and would burst open and catch on fire.
Yeah, it was a problem.
It is the job. Now, this is a physician saying this, and he's an idiot. Sorry.
Is he a physician?
Yeah.
Thank you. And
well,
I'll
no,
protect
who knows what doctor
And he's
means.
rocking that open road, though.
the health of my patients. We're responsible for our health, not the government.
We need to find out why Texas Bars was just about to start, just in the beginning stages of recovering, and then you target us. Why? Because I think it's important.
Because they found transmission, especially among young people across the country, started in bars.
Well, they found that what happens is that when you're in a bar and you're drinking, you're having a good time, it lowers your inhibitions a little bit.
And you laugh, which is...
I'm not trying to poke at anyone, but if you're saying, look, we should be trusted to take care of our own health and wear our masks and keep distances in bars and you can leave them open, I don't know the best way to prove that is this package that I'm seeing,
From
which is
Kilgore.
a ton of people not wearing masks, all partying together and drinking, who are kind of basically doing what we're not supposed to
But here's
do.
the deal. This is Louis Gohmert's county, so he won't allow COVID to get in there.
Oh, well, there you go then.
We want to have a way to earn a living, and musicians and bar owners are part of that.
Supporters came from as far as Fort Worth and Houston and included a candidate for Congress.
The government does not have the right to discriminate against who is allowed to make a living and who is not.
There's probably 30,000 people that I've had contact with on
Facebook. Check swing, but my Lord.
Welcome to East Texas.
How did I not say the S word just now?
Facebook alone that are without jobs. A lady came up to me yesterday crying.
I don't
She said,
think anybody doesn't have sympathy about people not having jobs right now. It's going to be tough. This is going to be tough. But it's going to be one of those things that, here's the thing, especially to the anti-mask people or the mask holes, I'm calling them. Yeah, that's it.
No, works fine.
The mask holes. I wish that it would be allowed. When you remember that thing when a kid got caught with a DUI or public intoxication? I may be getting this wrong, but do you remember there was a thing where they would take kids into a mortuary?
Yeah, scared straight kind of thing?
Yeah, scared straight kind of thing. I wish that any person that doesn't want to wear a mask,
go to the ER.
all the Karens that throw a fit,
Yeah.
that you could walk through the emergency room when it's packed,
Right.
and see what the nurses.
Do you remember in New York when they were putting bodies in refrigerated semi?
The same people that cried about the national anthem and somebody kneeling, and the same people that cried about the Dixie Chicks going way back, are perfectly okay with putting stress on, soldiers being put up for bounty too, but putting stress on nurses, and doctors. We had a nurse call here just a few weeks ago before it really got bad, and she was so down. She was going through a divorce
Tired, too.
So down, so tired. You can see video after video of people begging you. Sorry, getting way too serious. Let's hear more from.
Yeah, I'm bummed that we didn't actually take out huge loans. I know some people don't like debt, but when the interest rates are actually negative, we'd just taken out, instead of spending the $2 trillion, if we had done $7 trillion, passed out the bucks to everybody, told everybody stay home for 1 month, right?
Yeah,
right.
Just let the numbers go down to essentially zero. Well, then, but also then our gross domestic product soars this year because we dominate. We're the only economy completely open in the whole world. But you know,
I
it's
have
the
5
cat's
kids
out of the
at
bag
home.
now.
How
We're
am I
done.
going to feed my kids?
All business
Well, too bad they can't eat hair. I'm sorry.
is
Now,
conducted
Dale,
as takeout,
Dale.
but all in support of the protest, which they will take to Austin.
Looks like going to be a couple of thousand
Oh,
people.
don't you wish you could hear that band in Kilgore out on a stage in a field?
That's going to be meeting.
Let's see here.
Well,
Yeah,
no, I know how
steps
hot
is-
it was over the weekend. I don't want to be in that field. But where?
Capitol and all.
What?
What's this guy saying that there's going to be a couple thousand people?
Yeah,
at
they
the
were
Capitol?
here today. They were here today. I don't know if there was
Couple
a couple thousand.
thousand?
I don't know.
Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock. We got employees that's their livelihood. They got families to feed, and
Totally understand that. We were looking at doing.
Absolutely feel sympathy.
Just
for
a
these
week
folks.
ago, week and a half ago, we were looking at doing a live sideshow at Cap City Comedy Club for just 80 people wearing masks to benefit the Cap City crew. Don't think that we don't care about that part of it, but I don't think people understand what has happened in the past with pandemics in this country. And I did my delete keyword. I bought a computer repair kit, and I wish I had it in my bag here. This one makes me crazy. This is Rand Paul going up against Fauci. It's really long, but I'll just
Rand Paul!
No, he's nothing like his dad. Somebody one time called and said, Dale, you sound like a libertarian. But now the more I'm learning about libertarian, Bob and I have a mutual friend that really does think that we should do away with the USDA and your meat shouldn't be inspected and all that other stuff. He's fun to argue with. But no, I don't think I'm a libertarian.
I don't think you're a libertarian.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But Rand Paul is going on and on about facts.
Daycare to stay closed, or that recommend restrictions that make it impossible for a school to function. For a time, there may not have been enough
Okay,
information.
I'm going to tell you what Rand Paul says here. 'cause
Yeah, he
like I
goes
said,
on
this
for
is
he goes on for a little bit, about 6 minute
that there
rant.
has
I remember.
been no proof of any case of a child giving it to an adult. That's what he said. There's been zero reports. I don't know if that's
How do you
true
track
or not.
that?
or children giving it to one another. He's made a couple of weird statements as of late. One that he said that he thinks we need to put less importance on experts, and that because experts can be wrong, which I'm like, well, I guess, but
How do they get to be experts?
how often are experts? I mean, what's the batting average of an expert being wrong and Jim from New Mexico?
That reminds me of a mutual friend of ours also who claimed that I won't use her as an example, but that reminds me of someone who gets a curable disease such as Hodgkin's lymphoma is totally curable. 98% can be cured. And there have been people who say, no, I know a shaman who uses
Crystals.
stones. That's the same thing. And we literally have had somebody claim that healed them, but that's the same thing. People who take a completely, this nutty religions where they've kept their kid from having chemo.
Yeah, right.
It's insanity.
Or going to doctors at all.
The Rand Paul thing that
Rand
this
Paul.
might be a
Rand
different
Paul.
clip too. Is this where he's addressing Dr. Fauci?
Yeah. I'm just popping in and out.
Well, one of the kind of the bigger takeaway I got from, because he had 5 minutes to ask questions, but he just talked for the 7 minutes. He'd actually be great on our show. And his big question was, don't you think we need a little more optimism? He said, you keep just bringing negativity in, and you're not bringing any positivity.
A little more Mike Pence.
He was like, you need to bring in some more positivity because that's what we need. And it was just a weird moment because it just felt like, are you saying that'll make this go away if you're just more positive?
Pence this weekend saying we flattened the curve. We made some big strides. Well, okay, you did for a little while there, but I'm going to pop it over to Fauci here in just a second.
Children like the flu, that it is a lower risk. Just yesterday, the American Academy of Pediatrics says we got to get kids back in school. We want them physically present in school. They even cite mounting evidence that children are less likely to contract the virus. Ultimately, this all
less likely, but if they come home and their dad's an older dad, and still has a pool note, a swimming pool note to pay off.
Well, and I mean, this is a tight thing to figure out
news.
too, because the pediatrics are saying, look, the damage that we may end up doing to our children by keeping them away from developing with other children may outweigh, but that is them on just a child on its own. Then we have to start weighing that against where they take it and who's at home.
I got good news on that expensive life insurance policy I have. I didn't realize it has an accelerated rider on it.
I don't even know what this means.
It means the minute I find out that I'm definitely croaking, I can take that money out and go on a cruise around the world.
Oh, you killed the cruise
Or
lines,
if
dude.
if I'm disabled, meaning Spencer, would you please hit me in the back of the head with a 2x4?
Hell yeah.
But let's hear what Fauci has to say. Fauci has an ass-eating grin like you're an
Yeah,
idiot.
you might want to go back a little before that if you can, because there you go. Just watch
Fauci
the
looks
end.
like he's in at a comedy show right now.
Well, the last time Fauci was there, Rand Paul really took him to task on another thing that was a little bit off and weird. Rand Paul does not like Fauci.
He doesn't like human beings. He's done so. He voted against lynching, for the love of Mike. Let's just play this though.
I mean, flu season peaks in February. We don't know that COVID's going to be like the flu season. It might, but we don't know that. But we wouldn't ban school in October. You might close some schools when they get the flu. We need to not be so presumptuous that we know everything.
Has he looked at the freaking stats right now?
I don't know.
My question to you is, can't you give us a little bit more on schools that we can get back to school, that there's a great deal of evidence, and it's actually good evidence that kids aren't transmitting this. It's rare, and that kids are staying healthy, and that, yes, we can open our schools.
Mr. Chairman, do I have a little bit of time to...
Well, I give you a little. That was well over 5 minutes, but we'll...
Thank you, Senator
Go ahead and
Paul.
please answer the question.
Yeah, so very quickly, Senator Paul, I agree with a lot of what you say about, this idea about people having to put their opinions out without data. And sometimes you have to make extrapolations because you're in a position where you need to at least give some sort of recommendation. But if you were listening, and I think you were, to my opening statement and my response to one of the questions, I feel very strongly we need to do whatever we can to get the children back to school. So I think we are in lock agreement with that. The other thing that I'd like to clarify very briefly is that when things get in the press of what I supposedly said, I didn't say. I never said we can't play a certain sport. What happens is that people in the sport industry...
Is it just me, or does Rand Paul look like a dick? I mean,
he looks like it. I wouldn't want to hang out with him.
Is it just me that wonders why his neighbor kicked his ass? I have no idea. I don't know what it is.
He just looks like a pompous a-hole.
People from Players Association...
Can I say that?
Owners...
I get canceled?
Oh, he's an ophthalmologist. That's right.
People involved in the health of the players ask me opinions regarding certain facts about the spread of the virus, what the dynamics are. I give it, and then it gets interpreted that I'm saying you can't play this sport or you can't play that sport. I agree with you. I am completely unqualified to tell you whether you can play a sport or not. The only
I got a sport you can play.
thing that I can do is, to the best of my ability, give you the facts and the evidence associated with I know about this outbreak. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. I don't know if that was a great comeback, but
well, I think
it's almost as though the Rand Pauls of the world want it to not be as bad as it is.
And when you said, well, it's maybe not a great comeback, the whole point Fauci's trying to make is this isn't politics. So you can't dunk on me, and my job isn't to dunk on you.
Right.
You may not like what I'm saying, but I'm really just relaying the best information we have at that time.
I think the best. Yeah. I think the best thing said is that this virus doesn't care what your political party is.
It writes the rules,
and it doesn't care what you need and when you need to go back to work. And that's sad. I mean, we're all nutty. We're not. Listen, we've been coming into a studio, a building of a couple of hundred people, and it's going to be back July 7th. I'm not saying we're frontliners by any means, but it's everybody. Are we employed for now? But there's been cutbacks here. We don't know what's going to be going on. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Eric, what's up? I'm sorry to keep you on hold for so long.
No problem. Love you guys. Love the show. I just wanted to weigh in on,
My
what you
name's
previously
Lloyd
said
Crawford.
about the doctors and nurses and everything, how it's kind of taken a toll on them. My wife, she's a family nurse practitioner, and when the whole COVID thing started happening, she was elected to be kind of the primary, not physician, but primary care person at one of the 2 COVID isolation units. And, at that point in time, it was pretty stressful, and, things were kind of gradually building up. Everything, once the curve kind of flattened, it kind of steadied out. And at one point in time, a few weeks, maybe about a month ago, she was to the point she's like, hey, it may close up soon. And of course, then the spike hit. And this is the first time, as of last week, they've already hit capacity at her building. And I'm sure that they can't take any more people in. So it's getting pretty bad. And from a husband's point of view, she may say, oh, it's stressful, this and that. But like seeing the toll that it's taken on her and other people, it's crazy.
Is she not putting out?
Yeah, that's what you're trying to say, right? She's too tired to do it.
It's like you guys have cameras in my house.
It's a long silence, dude.
No, but
he's like, guys, I called to say something nice to you, and you're trying to get me divorced. Shut up.
No, she did have 10 years worth of ICU experience prior, so she saw death all the time. But she said this is worse than it was seeing gruesome bodies being torn apart due to the fact that you have these people dying and can't see their families. And
Right.
I think that's kind of the biggest toll that it's taken
emotionally.
on her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, you can get a face mask exempt card now if you want it.
What kind of illnesses do?
None. It's fraudulent.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
fake.
Because
we've seen a lot of people who have a breathing disorder who are screaming at other people.
They're screaming at the top of their lungs, but they have a breathing disorder.
Hey, did you see the follow up on the Party City lady who we played the video last week?
No, the original poster deleted that post though.
But it's still on our site.
Yeah, what's the follow up?
Not her child.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Yeah, I'd heard a rumor, but I didn't.
The rumor
say
is true.
anything.
I'm not going to go into it.
How
about this? It is alleged.
Is she back to massage therapy?
It is alleged that the child is
I couldn't hear the aside.
I said it is alleged that
is Shoe?
Dale Dudley, what are you doing?
I know what you're saying.
Thank you. It is alleged that the young child is the child of a woman we once interviewed in this room.
Oh. What are we so? Hey, why are we so chicken? Why are we so? Let me ask you a question.
Do you remember when we once had?
Yeah, hold on.
Some sex workers in this room.
Right.
It is alleged the child is the child of one of those.
Alleged.
People. Alleged.
Okay. Yeah. Why do we walk on eggshells around those two? Is it because one of them just went after me one day because listeners were being rude to her and she accused me of inflaming them somehow? And I blocked her.
I walk on no eggshells.
Oh, okay.
I hold my head high. I also just know how the law works, and I also know if the story's not that big of a deal, how much of a headache do you want to deal with on a daily basis we're talking about people that have my phone number. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't care. Do they have different employment now? Yeah. I remember one of those young ladies, no names here, one of those young ladies, was it on the air or off the air, who asked me if I wanted to sample the wares for money. And I said, no, that's somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of somebody else. I had a person that I knew that I hung around way back when who decided to become a sex worker. No, these are different girls.
I know who you're talking about also.
No, not that.
No, I do.
Oh, do you? This. Oh, we're on camera.
I know. He just
Oh,
held.
wait, what?
He just held a sign up in front of the camera.
Bitch, how come
And then
there's
you're
not
doing hand
flags when we're
signals.
on camera
What
or
a
whatever?
bunch of knuckleheads I work with.
We're on camera.
Come on, I have my light
my
on.
God.
He's holding up signs.
Did you even see what I was doing?
Yeah, you were doing this. I don't know what that means.
Do you remember the story I told you about a girl that wanted
Matt was right here. Hey,
it's
it's this person.
Do you want him to edit that out?
I don't care.
I didn't even see what you wrote. Let me see what you wrote. Don't put the camera on Matt real quick. Let me see what you wrote. Show me what you wrote.
Down there at the bottom.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah.
You don't make the choices of what's okay that I write.
No, that's all right. I know his name.
It's moot.
Do you remember me
It's not
telling? Do you
moot.
remember me telling you a story about the person that came over?
Yes.
And she was.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
Yes.
She was that, and then.
Do you remember why you told me about it?
She asked my girl buddy to.
Right. And do you remember why you
do
told me
this.
about this?
Now, camera, please, Dylan. She asked my girl buddy, Coke buddy, to do this, and she was, and
I told you that she came to a
and they kicked me out of her room.
And she came to a comedy show of mine years later. And the reason I asked you about her, because I said, oh, wait, are you friends with that person? Because it was on your Facebook.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, yeah, I got something to tell you. And I was like, no, somebody offered me services.
She offered me to sample the wares.
We're talking about the same person? Very
Yes,
attractive.
Yes, very attractive. Yeah.
Like
strawberry.
Not the kind of... Not
very attractive.
When you think of South Congress working ladies, that's not who this was.
The
and
hookers
everything.
haven't been on the South Congress in 20 years.
I'm old school, man. The city hasn't been the same since the hookers were on South Congress, bro.
She invited me to have a sample. I don't know if I was going to have to pay for it. And I said, no, I'm happily married. And she goes, I hear that from every married guy. Oh. And it was that point I disconnected.
That person, not this person.
Yeah.
But this person once approached me and then slid a card into my back pocket and said, I know it gets lonely being married sometimes.
I think the moral of this story is we all turned down some good tail. That's what I think the moral of the story is.
Yes, and I think more hot women should reward us.
So it's gotten, these are all people who've become, not all, okay.
All right.
Oh my God, is that a bear?
Those girls have become political. I don't know what happened to this.
When you say those, no, one has become very
I'm
involved in
confused.
politics.
Are you confused, Spence?
Another
I'm
one has
confused.
become
I'm
a
very
mother and
confused.
is living her own private life.
We can't say hookers anymore, right?
Sex workers.
Well, okay.
And
I think it should be legal.
And I want to say former sex workers because I don't know the current employment status. They may have gotten their
give it a break.
$1,200 from the government for COVID, and they're not.
Yeah. You know that silly. Who was I talking to when I did that? 3:00 in the morning. I recorded that.
We've got to have.
What was the hamster's name?
Do you know how those guns that you push and the little POW flag comes out?
Yeah.
We need flags that come out of these cameras that say on air or something, so we don't do that again.
The red light tells you you're on there.
Come on, dude. I'm not looking at cameras when I'm in here.
What is the?
You're not primping.
What was the name of my daughter's hamster?
I can't remember now.
Oreo.
No,
that was a long time.
My
That was the
daughter's
one
hamster,
that was
the one that she left rotting in her cage.
Oh, Fisty?
Yeah, Fisty. All right.
Carissa killed Oreo, right?
Yeah,
that was the one she.
All
killed.
right, we got a break. Doesn't matter.
Now Maxwell
Alex,
Soup.
come on, Alex, give us a break. Give it a break.
Oh, we got to say goodbye to the camera.
Bye, everybody.
Well,
Bye.
see you.
Bye, everybody.
I don't know what
We'll
this.
see.